I I always believe the right things will happen at the right time. And I just finished reading a book called Doing the Right Thing. How many of you know about that book or have read it? So it's a book written by Harish Bhatt on Ratan Tata. And Balaji incidentally called me and said that I want you to speak. And then this title fitted in perfectly well over there when I looked back at uh, my journey on entrepreneurship. Um, so I'm going to share a couple of points that I have always worked around over my entrepreneurial journey, which started in 1990, straight out of college. I kind of got into a computer business. It was an education training institute. I am not a computer graduate. My qualification is I'm a commerce graduate because I just allowed things to happen, and the way we were raised in our family also is allow things to happen. The right thing will always happen. To give you a perspective, I was a good student in school. So after standard 10 in Bishop Gordon's, I had got good marks in science and maths and had applied for ISC standard 11 and 12. They automatically put my name under the science stream. But I said, no, I have not applied for science, I have applied for commerce. And in those days, everybody would go for science, especially if you had good marks. And I said, no, I'm going to go for commerce. So that was a choice at that time. And what drove me at that time to choose commerce was I was seeing that science was too competitive exams, everybody, all my seniors were studying hard, and the only aim was to go abroad. And my aim was not to go abroad. I said, I'm going to live here with my parents and do what I can do over here. So the entire perspective was different. I was doing BCom, and while doing BCom in MES college, I happened to do a computer course. And my father said, you don't have to join my business, you can start something different if you like to. And that's how the computer business started. Normally for any other student, right from standard 9 or 10, they would plan that 7, 8 years later you will be a doctor or an engineer or things like that. And it kind of force-fitted into a particular stream. And luckily for me, at home, that was never there. And that gave me a confidence that things will always happen, right things at the right time if you allow them to evolve. That was one of the concepts. The other concept was somehow right from the beginning, I said whatever I do should be involved in some kind of production. Unless somebody produces something, we can't be worthfully employed with our skills. If the farmer doesn't grow, he doesn't produce, we will not have to eat. And because of that, in whatever you do something where you are involved in some kind of production. And that production could be in terms of improving efficiency in existing processes and so on. So I always try and keep myself aligned with that. And that also changed some decisions that I took in my life. Many of my close friends and even family suggested that you should become a consultant because you're very good at that. My thought process was, as a consultant, I might be alone. I need to produce. I need to be able to feed a couple of families through the people I employ. And therefore, no, I will not be an independent consultant. I will try and hire some people and make sure that I'm worthwhile in some way or other in their lives. Another principle that I followed was stick to a line. We often see entrepreneurs jumping from one line to another line. Stick to a line and go deeper in that line and grow from that line. I think that makes a lot more sense. And that happened with me too. I got into the computer line, I got into software. We were doing all kinds of software. And then most of our projects were into the retail space and then mostly into family-run businesses. And largely into textile garments and saris and so on. So I could see that the more I stayed on one line, we were becoming more experts in that, rather than what was the trend at that time to suddenly grow big and do everything that you can, which a lot of my colleagues did. But I said, no, I better be in one line and specialize and remove the unwanted extra projects that we would do. And I think that has helped us a great deal. Avoid huge sudden growth. That was another thing which I closely followed. In that time, in that age, it was very easy in our line of business to suddenly become a big company. And I consciously avoided that because I felt I would lose my day-to-day touch with my clients. And that was very dear to me. Because one of the other principles was that I wanted to work with the owners of businesses and not really with managers in corporate. Because if the mindset with the owner has gelled, there is no problem which cannot be solved. Whereas in a corporate, I would see that I don't know whom I'm dealing with, tomorrow he will change, there will be another person there, and things get difficult. I think that was a lovely decision that I took, and that helped us build very great relationships with owners of businesses, and we are literally family, even with some of my clients who were there with me for more than 30 years. I can proudly say Abhay's father was one of my very early clients way back in 91. I don't know, when were you born? 84. Okay, so he was a small kid at that time. And we had computerized at that time their transport business, where we used modem communication, which was very, very unheard of for their Bangalore, Hyderabad and Chennai routes. So working with owners was a great deal. What was that indication? Did I get an indication from that? No. Another thing which worked for me, because I stuck to these principles, is that my customers became investors in my company, because we were working so closely with them. And that was something which was remarkable. I never ever had a marketing team, and even today I don't have a marketing team. But we have over 100 customers, and all of them have come from referrals. And my customers now speak for me and get me new business very regularly because they are invested in the company. What is it in it for them? I was a computer person, I know coding, but I don't know business. All my retail clients taught me business, and they wanted their IP to be protected. And therefore, this worked for them very well, that their IP got protected by being a part of this company. So that's something which has worked for me. Another remarkable thing which I have noticed is, since I work in retail, many of the staff of our store owners, they are the ones who are regularly getting us new business. And I trace that back to how we deal with people, even the staff. Because when they change jobs and go to another store, they tell their boss, no, you must go to this person and this company, they'll do the right work for us. And I think that's something remarkable which has worked for me. And finally, I would say is allow the universe to work on you. If we are even able to predict at what point, at what moment the sun is going to rise, the universe is so perfect. When it's going to set, everything is so perfect, and we are a part of that, which means the universe has a path for us. Only thing, we need to be alert and aware at that time and grab that opportunity and work on it, and that would definitely come. So these were some of the points that I thought I would share. Thank you very much.